There's something sitting inside every single one of your cells right now that proves you share ancestors with a chimpanzee. You didn't learn this in school, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand evolution better than most adults, not because it's complicated, but because nobody ever explained it using the right examples. Here's what this video is actually about. Evolution is one of those topics where everyone thinks they kind of get it, but the real evidence, the stuff that makes your jaw drop, almost never gets talked about. So I'm going to walk you through 10 pieces of evidence for evolution, each one more mind-bending than the last. And I'm saving the wildest one for the end, because once you hear it, the whole picture clicks into place in a way that nothing else does. Let's start with something scientists actually filmed. Researchers built a giant Petri dish, a black plate about the size of a door, and divided it into zones. The outer edges had no antibiotics at all. As you moved toward the center, the concentration got higher and higher, all the way up to a lethal dose. The dish contained sections of a growth medium with a gradual increase of antibiotic. Then they put bacteria on the edges and pointed a camera at it for 11 days. What happened next is one of the most visually stunning things in science. The bacteria multiplied and spread toward the next zone. In each antibiotic zone, some mutated to develop resistance, allowing them to survive and move inward. As they approached the highest concentration zones, only the most resistant strains continued to thrive, natural selection playing out in real time. You could literally watch it happen. White branching trails creeping across a black background. Evolution moving like a slow-motion wave across a petri dish. The process repeated until the bacteria reached the section with a 1,000 times antibiotic concentration in under 2 weeks. That's not a theory. That's a recording. And here's the thing. That experiment only shows you the speed of evolution. It doesn't show you how far it can actually go. For that, you need to meet Richard Lenski. In 1988, he took 12 flasks of E. coli bacteria and started letting them evolve. The experiment ran continuously at Michigan State University until May 2022, when the populations reached 75,000 generations, and was then revived and restarted in a new lab. Every single generation has been frozen and saved, so scientists can go back and replay any moment in the experiment, like rewinding a video. Now, here's where it gets strange. Around generation 31,500, one line of E. coli evolved the ability to utilize citrate, a food source that E. coli are not normally able to metabolize under regular oxygen conditions. This was a genuinely new ability, appearing from scratch in a controlled lab with every step of the process documented. Scientists could go back into the frozen archive, replay the exact sequence of mutations, and watch the new trait emerge again. Evolution caught red-handed in real time with receipts. So we've seen evolution happening live. But what about something even stranger? Evolution solving the same problem twice, completely independently, using the exact same genetic trick. Bats and dolphins have nothing to do with each other. Different lineages, different environments, no shared echolocating ancestor, yet both independently evolved the ability to navigate using sonar. That alone is interesting, but the truly wild part is how they did it. Both species ended up with nearly identical mutations in the same gene, a gene called prestin that fine-tunes hearing for high-frequency sound. Evolution didn't just arrive at the same destination twice, it took the same molecular road to get there. When biologists first sequenced these genes and compared them, they thought there was a mistake in the data. There wasn't. The universe apparently has a favorite solution, and evolution keeps finding it. That same logic shows up in your eyes. There's a gene called PAX6 that controls eye development. It works in humans, it works in mice, and it works in flies, even though fly eyes and human eyes evolved completely independently and look nothing alike. Scientists took the mouse version of PAX6, inserted it into a fly embryo, and it triggered eye growth on the fly's leg. A fully formed fly-style compound eye, grown from mouse instructions. The gene is over 500 million years old, and both lineages just kept using it. Evolution didn't reinvent the wheel, it kept the blueprint and just changed what it was building. Now you might be thinking, okay, evolution clearly works on small stuff, bacteria and genes. But what about the big picture? What about us? Here's where it gets personal. Some blind cave fish species have embryos that begin growing eye tissue in the womb, lenses and everything, only for the genes to shut the process down partway through and the eye tissue gets reabsorbed before birth. The fish never uses those eyes. They live in complete darkness. But the blueprint for eyes is still there, still running, still getting started before something switches it off. Evolution didn't erase the instruction manual, it just added a stop command on top of it. You have the same kind of leftover instructions in your own body. There's a nerve in your body called the recurrent laryngeal nerve. It runs from your brain to your voice box. In a human, it takes a slightly weird detour down into your chest before looping back up. Odd, but not too bad. In a giraffe, that same nerve travels all the way down a 15-foot neck, loops around a ligament near the heart, and then comes all the way back up to the voice box. A 15-foot detour for a connection that could be made in about 1 foot. In fish, this nerve made perfect sense. Short, direct, efficient. But as necks got longer over millions of years, evolution never rerouted it. It just kept stretching the same path. A perfect example of how evolution builds on what already exists, even when a smarter design would start over. And speaking of things that never got cleaned up, about 8% of your DNA is made of dead viruses. Ancient viruses infected our ancestors' sex cells millions of years ago and got permanently stuck in the genome, passed down ever since. More of your DNA is ancient viral debris than actual protein-coding genes. But here's the part that makes this real evidence and not just a weird fact. Chimps carry the exact same viral insertions in the exact same locations in their genome. The only way that's possible is if both species inherited those insertions from a shared ancestor. The viruses got in before the lineages split, and both species have been carrying the same genetic scar ever since. Which brings me to the one piece of evidence I've been holding back. The thing I mentioned at the very start. The proof sitting right now in your own cells. Humans have 46 chromosomes. Every other great ape, chimps, gorillas, orangutans, has 48. For a long time, that 2-chromosome gap was a genuine puzzle. If we share a common ancestor, where did those 2 chromosomes go? The answer, when scientists finally found it, was almost too clean to believe. Human chromosome 2 is literally 2 ape chromosomes fused end to end. You can still see the evidence frozen inside it. The telomere sequences, the protective caps that normally only appear at the very tips of chromosomes, are sitting right in the middle of chromosome 2, exactly where the fusion happened. And there's a second centromere in there too, dead and non-functional, like a vestigial organ inside your own DNA. It's not a theory, it's a fossilized event, preserved in every cell in your body, showing the exact moment 2 chromosomes became 1. And that's the through line across everything we covered today. The megaplate filming evolution in 11 days. The Lenski experiment watching a brand new trait emerge after 31,500 generations. Bats and dolphins independently finding the same genetic solution. Cavefish still building eyes they'll never use. A giraffe's 15-foot nerve detour. 8% of your genome being ancient viral wreckage shared with chimps. And 2 chromosomes fused into 1, still carrying the scar. Evolution isn't something that happened once, long ago, to other creatures. It's running right now, in bacteria on a Petri dish, in populations alive today, and in the DNA you were born with. The evidence isn't buried in textbooks. It's sitting in your cells. If this kind of thing genuinely blows your mind, drop a comment with the fact that hits you hardest. I'm curious whether it's the chromosome fusion, the dead viruses, or something else entirely. And if you want more of this, the real, weird, specific science that nobody bothered to teach you, there's another video right after this one that's going to do the exact same thing to your brain. Go watch it.